It is 12:03. Welcome to the Boston Pizza Oil Stream. We've got a waiver claiming, not for the Oilers, against the Oilers. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, no.
Carolina has claimed Philp off of waivers from the Edmonton Oilers. We'll get to that here. We'll dive into it. It'll be your Popeye's Spicy Headlines. The Oil Stream is brought to you by Boston Pizza. Where Tommy Gazzola, where will you be tonight, Tommy?
Clairview Boston Pizza, where they have a 174-inch, 8K screen in the lounge.
That is insane. That's the biggest screen I've seen in the city.
It is phenomenal.
Is it technically the biggest screen in the city?
I mean, indoors, it has to be right up there.
It's got to be right up there.
Outside of a Jumbotron at Rogers Place. I'm trying to think which other sporting venues in our city might have one. I don't know if Saville Center does. I don't think they have one that big. I don't think that, certainly not the Expo Center. They don't have that.
No.
There are those ones that you can rent.
There's the ones that you can set up.
But this is permanent.
Permanently there. It's
a monster.
It's a big one. There's no doubt about it.
And Dusty, when you come down to BP Clairview, just like when you go down to BP 170th to watch along with me when we do pre and post, prizes are available.
Prizes galore.
Yeah. Norman at Combine walked away with a CJ Stroud jersey. He won legit fitting because he's a huge Texans fan. Oilers tickets are the grand prize at BP Clairview at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Then they have little prizes in the intermission. Not as many as BP 170th, but
the tickets are big.
The tickets are big, and then there's prize packs. I think, Lisa and Jason will do Oilers Molson t-shirt, a beer pint glass, and then a toque or a hat.
Yeah, and Lisa's a good time. And Jason's a beauty.
Yeah, they're great.
Jason's the one who introduced me to AI songwriting because of the Buffet Bandit. So a lot there, yeah. Anyway, join Tommy tonight. Clairview Boston Pizza pregame gets going at 4:30, and then postgame to follow. Who do you have with you tonight? Benny Thompson and
Matt Cassian.
Cassian in tonight. There's a ton of games in January. Eh?
Yes,
I was looking at the list.
I wrote that list out the other day.
That's an insane. How many games do they play in January?
15 games, 11 at home.
And just 4 on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts too. Yeah. All right, let's dive into your Popeye's Spicy Headlines. And we've got some things to talk about indeed, and that would be the fact that the Edmonton Oilers put Noah Philp on waivers, and he's been claimed by the Carolina Hurricanes, which is kind of interesting. Tommy, your thought? Are you surprised that they lost him?
A little bit.
I'll be honest, I am. I didn't think he'd be claimed.
I think the only way that a team would have picked him up is if they watched him closely in Bakersfield. I mean, his sample size in the National Hockey League is relatively small. When he was playing, he wasn't playing a ton. I liked him as an Oiler. I was rooting for him. He's a nice guy to talk to, and great story, obviously. So I feel like this is one of the teams that had its scouts watching him when he was down in the minors and said, you know what, we like his numbers, we like his advanced metrics, and he's worth taking a flyer on. So hopefully for him, it means he gets to stay in the NHL. I'm just going into their roster to see what they have.
This feels like one of those situations where they will waive him again in a little bit, and the Oilers take him back.
That's what I was also thinking.
That's my first thought process here, is that he goes to Carolina, plays until they're healthy, and then gets put back on waivers, and the Oilers get first crack at him and reclaim him.
That's kind of what I thought initially, because I know the Oilers like him. Now, I don't know where he fit into the overall plan. But if they really
liked him,
they wouldn't have waived him.
Send Jones down and keep Philp up.
But level of do you like him as an NHL piece, or do you like him as a depth piece? I think I would lean probably more towards they like him as a depth piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to slight Philp here, but to me, he's a fourth line center.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's probably, I know some people thought maybe he could be a third line center one day. I don't know if I see that upside in him as a right shot fourth line center. That's fine, but I mean, if they really liked him,
they wouldn't have gotten him.
They wouldn't have put him on waivers and kept Jones.
Now they have to do some cap adjusting. They've got some of that they need to do as well.
Do others have to?
I believe so. Yes, but Jones has been an NHLer a full-time NHLer at times in his career. Whereas Philp,
but not an
really
impactful one.
No, that's true.
That's
fair.
He's played 290 games.
Right.
So,
but
and he's the same age as Philp.
Yeah. And I think you get to a point too where you think to yourself, which guy do we keep? The one that has a history in the league or a guy that's just trying to establish himself? And unfortunately, that's where it seems to have gone. I think they hope that he would have cleared.
Yeah, I don't think this is I don't think it's a devastating loss. I'll just say it. Nothing against Philp. I think I would have probably rather kept him on the roster than a couple of the other guys that are currently on the roster.
I can think of one or two.
But obviously they don't view it that way.
Yeah.
Or do you think they were just thinking he'd clear and they're stunned right now too?
Maybe a little bit surprised.
I want to see, so Friedman, I want to see some of the reaction to Friedman saying Carolina claims Philp. Let's just pop in here and see. Let's see there's got to be some Oilers fans in here.
Of course there are.
Here's one that says, good kid, but he's 27 years old, was struggling massively against weak competition. Had hope for him, but not sure now. I'm a little surprised Carolina picked him up. I guess, but plays on their fourth line until. Do they have some injury issues right now?
They have a pretty healthy lineup, it looks like. I'm going down to injuries. Keandre Miller on the back end. Seth Jarvis is out. Jacob Slavin's out. Keandre Miller day-to-day. Slavin out. Seth Jarvis had that nasty collision, IR. Charles Alexis Legault on IR.
I thought Philp would clear because I don't know. I feel like most organizations have a 27-year-old right shot center who's barely played in the National Hockey League.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised by it. 780-218-9999.
Where are you putting him into this lineup?
Into Carolina's lineup,
if I may. Just a quick exercise here.
Okay. Sorry.
I'll read it out.
Yeah, read it out to me. Yeah. I mean, the answer is fourth line or 13th forward.
Yes.
Okay. So what's their bottom six look like?
Well, okay, bottom six. We'll start with bottom six.
Yeah, I don't care, but he's not playing in the top six.
Yeah, no chance in top six. Jordan Stahl centering William Carrier and Jordan Martinook. That's your third line.
There's no chance he's breaking into that line.
Mark Jankowski centering Taylor Hall and Eric Robinson on the fourth line.
Yeah, I mean, he's not playing. He's not taking a spot from those guys either, I don't think.
Unless you are unhappy with Eric Robinson right now.
Yeah, but you're bringing in Philp, how many games has Philp played?
25 in his career.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe around there. If you look at last year, 30. So he's played 30.
Yeah, okay.
He's got 2 goals and 5 points in the 30 games. I don't think he's taking a job from anybody currently on Carolina's roster. I was looking at Carolina, actually. Who were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about Nick Ehlers on Lock Shot because Winnipeg obviously clearly misses him. So I was looking, and Carolina, like Sebastian Aho's got 33 points.
Yep.
Nobody else is a point per game there. And it's very spread out. Like Taylor Hall has more points than Stankoven.
He's on the fourth line.
I mean, I guess they run a lot of depth. I'd like to see the ice time distribution in Carolina because they seem to be getting quite a bit of contributions from guys further down their lineup, so to speak. You know what? If you're an Oilers fan, I don't know if I'd freak out because I think he gets waived by Carolina in the near future again, and they claim him back. I could see that happening on this one.
Carolina, good regular season team.
Yeah, they have been forever. They're San Jose. They're modern day Sharks.
Yeah, kind of.
Right. But the Sharks did get to a cup final.
They did.
Right? Who'd they lose to?
They lost to Pittsburgh.
Was it Pittsburgh?
Yep.
That's a pretty non-memorable final.
No.
Right, what happened? I remember Pittsburgh against Detroit, obviously.
Yeah, Pittsburgh beat Nashville as well.
Yeah. Ugh.
The San Jose one, was that the emergence of Matt Murray?
That would have been a Matt Murray year.
Right.
Yeah.
2016.
All right, let's get to some of your text messages on this. Oil City Dynasty says, damn that Tyler Dello. He's in Carolina, right?
Yeah, assistant GM.
We'll get to some Thomasek stuff in a second. Saskatoon Muncher text in. And you can chime in if you're watching over on YouTube today. Hammer the thumbs up for us. Chime in the conversation. And if you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can You can text us. Saskatoon Muncher, num, says, I would have liked to have kept Philp, but let's just give a reminder to fans that it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
I remember the absolute freak out with the Raphael Lavoie saga, and no one talks about him anymore. That
was silly.
Remember that? I remember that.
Certainly
We were at the old office
when
all that went down.
And people were heartbroken.
By the way, didn't Xavier Bourgault make his NHL debut?
After being waived by Ottawa in the offseason.
Yeah. Haji texts in and says they're just trying to clear out that Fleury/Crosby money. One small contract at a time.
Oh, sure.
One small contract at a time.
I like that thought. Think big.
Gord Marner says, Philp isn't a mover for me, but why not waive Jones again? Makes more money, gives you about the same thing. I think he's waiver exempt from being sent down early.
I think Jones is more physical.
Yeah, he's more physical.
Sorry for interrupting.
No. But, I mean, that would be one of the reasons, I guess, if you're looking at it. If that's something that they feel like they require. Anyway, Philp, for now, a member of the Carolina Hurricanes. Shout out Stoff. I know this is a tough day.
Oh, boy.
Stoff's probably freaking out right now.
How could you do that?
Your boy will be back, Stoff. Your boy will be back.
How could you do that?
Okay, Tomasek obviously clears.
Yeah.
Back over to Europe. What's the latest with Tony from Boston Pizza? Because he made a series of bets that Thomasek was going to get 25 or 30 goals, and if he didn't, we'd get Boston Pizza for life.
Yeah, so...
like, the all-time worst bet that you could ever imagine.
So, as Collingwood Rob is my witness, and he texted in earlier when I was on the Hangout, I only got the 1 year free BP. And when I walked in on Saturday to set up for pregame at BP on the 70th, we're there on the 17th, by the way, for...
January 17th?
Yeah.
Only 4 road games in January,
yes.
so you got to hop on these opportunities.
Tony was waiting. He looked up at me with a sad face, and I said, Tony, how's it going? How was Christmas? And I kind of like delayed, and then finally he goes, just say it. Just say it. I'm like, say what, Tony? He goes, you were right. I was wrong. You get BP. And I'm like, I'm going to be here every day, Tony. Kidding. I would not. But
he is going to bring in a bit of a feast, though.
I think we're going to see him this week. And we even might allow him to say something about it.
Yeah, only have 5 minutes maybe at the end of Friday's oil stream. I won't be in. I don't know who's with you that day, but
he has been talking about this for months. And Tony, we look forward to Friday. Let's do this. And
if you want to chime in on the Thomasek conversation, 780-218-9999 over on YouTube as well. I remember they signed him. I was a little surprised just because I said at the time, I said, I don't think he moves well enough to do the good things that he does over there, over here. And it's just, I know over there, everybody thinks, bigger ice and you skate well. And that's why, but it's the NHL with the smaller surface, you got to be quick.
Yeah.
And to me, in the end, he just wasn't quick enough. But I like the fact that he liked to shoot, had a decent shot. And Tommy, this is a guy who got some opportunity early in the season when Hyman was out. He was on PP1 to start the year and that was his window. If he could have clicked in the first 4 weeks and scored five goals, 6 goals or whatever, buried a couple on the power play, and we might be talking about a little bit of a different conversation here, but he'd fallen out of favor of the coaching staff over the last month. He wasn't even getting into the lineup.
Yeah.
Do you think he got a fair enough shot, and why do you think it didn't work here?
Fair enough shot, yes. And I think part of it, too, was he earned it. He had a really good training camp.
He did have
a very good preseason. He was a pleasant surprise. And remember, he made that one play in the Calgary game. I think it was like through the legs. It got to Draisaitl, and he scored on the power play. He had a few pretty good games to start the season. Then it started to trail off. And I think once, maybe by the 10th game, and the team, remember, not great success early in the season. And they were looking for answers, and then they signed Roslovic. I think that was a big part of Tomasek losing his opportunity as well. And it went further. It just descended until a point where they didn't even want to put him in the lineup. And when he got into the lineup, it was because they need to shake things up because things were so bad, or they had injury issues. I think, and then he just got to a point where he said, screw it, I'm going back to Europe. The thing that was surprising and that some people mentioned to me was they were a little bit maybe caught off guard or shocked that he would, walk away from the money that would have been coming to him this year. But if he's been making good money in Europe, he's made a good chunk of his contract this year, maybe money isn't everything, and that's a great position to be in. And as Max Bazuzu said, I texted my wife, Tommy was right. She didn't get it. I said this on the pregame show, I think. I'm not happy I'm right. It just, these kind of obscure signings out of Europe for guys who have been in Europe for so long don't generally work out. And, like Joachim Nygaard could skate.
Yeah, he was really fast.
He was really fast, but the other stuff he couldn't do. Right?
Look, man, if a guy can skate well enough and does other things well, he's already in the NHL. That's usually how it works. These guys coming from overseas rarely click. Click. And that's not just here. That's in a lot of different places. Well, especially here.
When he signed here, and I was asking people about him, I was told, remember Roman Cervenka? It's the last time I'm going to bring it up because, it's too bad it didn't work out. Roman Cervenka.
And it moved like Cervenka too, actually. Like that guy wasn't overly quick.
Also a Czech. And Cervenka played, I think it was like 39 games for the Flames about a decade ago. Put up 17 points, if I'm not mistaken, and then was back to Europe right after. And I said, well, why are you signing Roman Cervenka? Like, this guy's been clamoring for it. I guess Tomasek was asking for bigger bucks when he was starting to knock on NHL teams' doors, and there was some interest for him, and then he finally relinquished some of the asking price and thought Edmonton would give him a good opportunity. And it worked for a bit, and then ultimately it got to the point where it was like, all right, we're done here. Both sides saying, just going to walk away and be done with it. So it's too bad. And I don't like when people don't succeed. Like, I saw somebody text me, Tommy's going to be happy. No, I'm not happy. I was just
nobody's happy.
I was when just
they're
right,
even when they're right about something. Like, it's like,
but it didn't. It doesn't really hurt them. And if anything, they burnt up a contract, right?
Yeah,
they used them for a bunch of games. What did he end up playing? Like 20 games?
Yeah, he got about 20 games.
Okay.
Did he get 20? It was close.
Easy E saying, buddy wanted more money. Yeah, Easy. So when
22 games.
Yeah, when he started
still had more goals than Frederick and Mark.
Wow, jeez. When he started generating interest from NHL teams a few years ago or whatever, he was asking for a bit more. Baptized Big U. Tommy wants players to succeed unless it's pods in the top 6.
Is he wrong? Is he wrong?
Yes.
I'm messing with you.
I want success, but I just don't see him as a traditional top 6. He's playing good this year. Rip City Step, don't you say anything. I know you're going to jump in there too.
All right, 780-218-9999. DeBrusque, healthy scratched in Vancouver.
Oof.
People are going to be like, how do they get him? How do they get him? How do they get him?
I'm surprised they didn't get him a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because I knew he would have been okay with coming here.
Okay, so no movement clause, but that doesn't matter because he would come here.
Yeah.
$5.5 million up until 2031. He's 29 years old.
Yeah.
What would you have to add to Mangiapane and something else cap wise to make that happen?
If Vancouver is so down,
like 5.5 isn't impossible.
First of all, I'm personally biased in all of this. I've known him since he was like 10 years old.
Since he's a little guy, yeah.
And he's a great guy. Great man now. He's a great kid. He's a great man. I think he's still a very good and useful NHL player. I think
he's a snake bit a bit.
Well,
Vancouver,
and
right?
Vancouver's a mess.
They are a mess.
Let's not kid ourselves. Maybe he just needs a refresh in a new market. This is a tough market, although he is well into his career and has played in 2 very boisterous hockey markets, let's call it. Some would say one is toxic. Boston's just a good one. So I think he could handle that. I don't know. Maybe you could entice a Vancouver Canucks team that is retooling or whatever you want to call it by throwing a Mangiapane. Hey, give Mangiapane a fresh start. Play him. Let him.
But Mangiapane has a no trade clause.
Oh God,
I know. I just went and looked.
Who doesn't?
I don't know. I don't know how I forgot that. I don't know how I forgot that. But I went to look and I was just like, oh, Mangiapane must not have a no trade clause. They gave him 2 years and over $3.5 million, and he was coming off a fourth line in Washington. But he does have a no trade clause.
Yeah. Unless he does a Victor Arvidsson says, you know what, this ain't working. Get me out of here.
Yeah. Mangiapane, no trade clause. And I know everybody will be like, well, move Henrique, but Henrique's got the no movement clause. So
yeah,
that's going to be a tough one. And Matthias Janmark has the 10-team no trade clause. So shout out to Matthias Janmark's agent for getting some sort of trade protection from the Edmonton Oilers.
He blocked a shot the other night, and I went and yelled at everybody in the nasties over there. Did you see my boy block that shot? I think it was Tommy Rubella because Tommy Rubella was wearing the Tommy's Boy t-shirt.
Oh, okay, yeah. I saw that
t-shirt.
Did
you see my boy block that shot? He goes, no, I missed it. I'm like, that's important. I don't know if you could find again. You got to tap dance around the cap.
It doesn't seem likely, right? So
yeah. Listen, personally, I'd be open to it. I love Jake. I think he's great. I think he's still going to be a good NHL player for a while. I think Vancouver's a mess, and I don't think it's getting any better there. If you could find a way to make it happen, I would definitely explore it. If it was me, I think the Oilers would look at it. They do tend to be aggressive. They are open to a lot of things. But is it realistic? I don't know. I don't think so. But it feels like something's cooking over there and they're being coy about it. But we'll see.
Elliot Friedman on Mangiapane. As we talk about Mangiapane with the no trade situation, Friedman was quoted saying, I do think both sides would be willing in the right situation. So
there you go.
Elliot Friedman saying that Mangiapane would be open to being moved, I think, to a place where he obviously have a bigger role. And the Oilers probably would like to get out of the contract of Mangiapane and use that money somewhere else. Okay, well, let's have this conversation with Mangiapane. Sure. Why hasn't it worked? He came in and they started him in the top 6.
Yeah.
Just like they started Frederick in the top 6.
Oh, yeah.
So that was probably the plan that they were hoping for. Like, one of the reasons... So we're sitting here today, and I've got on the thing to discuss. Roslovic's going to play third-line center, and he's going to be flanked by Frederick and Matthias Janmark, two of the least effective offensive players in the entire National Hockey League.
It's like playing with Eric Belanger.
And this is the reason that we're sitting here going, well, they signed Mangiapane and paid him to come in here and complete a top 9 in some way, shape, or form.
Correct.
And he can't even get on that line tonight. He's playing with Henrique, which I guess you could kind of make the case that, the bottom 6 are like 2 fourth lines. That's basically what we're looking at.
Essentially, unfortunately.
So, would you give Mangiapane, well, you're not moving up. You're not playing him ahead of Nuge. You're not playing him ahead of Podkolzin. You're not playing him ahead of Hyman. You need this guy to become part of an effective third line somehow. Is it salvageable, Tommy? I guess would be the answer.
With Mangiapane?
Yeah. Is it salvageable to build some sort of third line with Mangiapane on the left side and Roslovic on the right side, and you find some sort of center to play with him?
Maybe. But unlikely. I'm just looking at his minutes. Like, he's playing 10 to 12 minutes a night, basically, for the last 10 games. He started out the year playing 16, 17 minutes.
So he's been cut down to, well, that's when he was in the top 6, right?
Yeah. And now he's capping out. Like, he had a game where he had 15 minutes and 29 seconds. He picked up an assist December 4th against Seattle. If I'm not mistaken, they won that game pretty handily, didn't they? Maybe he just doesn't have the trust of the coaching staff. I would assume he doesn't have the trust of the coaching staff. There are times where I would watch him, especially early in the season, see him make plays, be buzzing around the net. I'm like, okay, that's kind of what he does, right? He doesn't seem like a burner. I remember him kind of being in Calgary and being out there wheeling and dealing.
I thought he was quicker than he's looked since he's been here. I will fully admit that. I thought he would be faster.
And we don't see a lot of that. How much of it has to do with his line mates most of the season? Could be a part of it. This could just be another bad fit. unfortunately. I think he's a great guy. I had a great conversation with him about a month ago. He was hopeful. I mean, I guess, Dusty, but you got to give him an opportunity. Roslovic's kind of taken a bunch of that opportunity. Now that Hyman's back and playing very well.
And like what you see from Savoy.
Savoy's promise.
He's a guy in flux, right? They'll move him around a little bit.
Well, Savoy's second line today to start at least. They don't really, like you said, their third and fourth line are 2 fourth lines essentially.
Yeah, they're 2 fourth lines.
And what do you
even from ice time distribution?
What are you gonna do? Like, let's look at today's lines. For this team. Like, what are you gonna do? In all honesty, offensively on a line with Henrique and Lazar.
This is a saying. It's from a song. Absolutely nothing. Right? What's the bottom six good for? Absolutely nothing. Like, that's the thing. Mangiapane and Roslovic.
Right.
Both of them are being flanked by guys. Not that Mangiapane has done a lot either. But Mangiapane's not going to drive a line. Like, to me, if you talked about this with Drager a little bit this morning. Like, I asked him, I said, we sit here and bitch a lot in Edmonton, and I'm not talking about just fans. I'm talking about the whole market.
Everybody.
About, I can't get anything from bottom six, can't get anything from bottom six. And then he, Dregs points out, he goes, well, a lot of it is you're paying so much to guys in the top six, you can't pay much to guys in the bottom six, which I sort of get, but you're paying Mangiapane $3.5 million. That's a guy, and you're paying Frederick over $3 million. Those are guys and who are getting, and Henrique's getting $3 million. So you've got, let's say if those guys were a line, you've got a $10 million third line. They should be able to produce more than nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I love this one from Impulse to Adrenaline. It says, trade him to Carolina for Philp. Which is very funny. I'll give you that. But
well played.
One of the conversations we wanted to have here is Roslovic's going to center the third line.
I don't get this either.
Tonight. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And he's going to be with Frederick and Janmark. And there's no way I'm going to come on the air tomorrow morning to break down that game and go, well, Roslovic's got to generate something with Frederick and Janmark. Those guys are as close to not scoring goals as anybody else in the entire National Hockey League. So now Roslovic gets stuck with these two anchors on his wing. When Roslovic or Savoy should be on the right side of a third line with a legitimate guy who could possibly drive some offense. And, I know people talk about Adam Henrique and they go, well, he wins faceoffs and he kills penalties. Perfect. He's a fourth line center making $3 million.
Yeah.
That's what Adam Henrique is. Adam Henrique, how many points does Henrique have this year? I bet you it's like enough to be on one hand, or I hold up another little thumb.
I got it right here.
Like, what's he got? 6 points? 5 points?
9 points.
9 points. That's a little bit more than I thought he had.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, he's essentially a fourth line center at this stage of his career. Mm-hmm. You need a third line center that can drive a little bit. They got some wingers that can play with him. Roslovic can play with him, or Roslovic can go and play with Draisaitl, and Savoy can play with him.
Yep.
And you're not asking for a lot. You're asking for like a goal every 3 games or something along those lines. You're asking for a line that if you get to the playoffs and you can't play your fourth line, then you can rely on the third line a little bit. This is not, you don't want to be that situation against Winnipeg when they had that overtime game and Devin Shore. Remember Shore played so many minutes in that game because they shut down like everybody else.
And they sat
Ethan just Shore
Bear.
was the guy. Like,
yeah.
But the thing we talked about with Drager is that your top six is so good. Do we need to complain as much as we do about the bottom six? But then when you point out that Henrique's getting over $3 million and those other guys are getting over $3 million, I'm sorry. There should be some production coming from those guys.
And there's almost zero. And maybe that's part of why I'm hopeful for Mangiapane. Because if he had 6 more minutes a night, maybe he would have a few more points. But in the time he has played, he hasn't really given you much of a spark or much offense. So it's this weird double-edged sword.
We have this conversation every year, Tommy, right?
Yes. And I'm sitting there thinking, too, you guys were talking on the morning show. Great job, HR Daddy, on the morning show, by the way.
We did well. Yeah.
I think Joaquin brought it up that he had read or heard, or maybe you brought it up, that Roslovic doesn't prefer center.
I saw it on an article or a comment from a Carolina fan saying he's talked about in the past he doesn't like playing.
Okay, so if this is something he's made public, I'm going, what is the rationale here when you have Frederick, Janmark, Lazar,
Yeah, those guys all
Nugent
play
Hopkins,
center.
who can all play center. You have other options to play center, even on the third line. And if you're trying to spark offense with Janmark and Frederick, that sounds so counterproductive. The only rationale I could come up with, and I could be wrong, but is you want to
need to be convincing because I don't think I'll believe you.
And I this is the only thing where I'm like, well, do they want him getting back into the flow of game and having a bunch of puck touches and more responsibility, and then they can eventually slide him back up to the wing?
That might be the best case you can make.
That's the only thing I could think of, because you got that responsibility. You feel like you're a little bit rusty since you came back off a long layoff. And
probably want to carry the puck because you don't want to pass it to either of the two guys on your wings.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They're going to take it into the corner, maybe turn it into a battle and lose the battle, and it's coming back the other way. So that's the only thing I could think of, is that they want him moving around and skating and having puck touches and a little bit of responsibility, maybe to get him going, and then you could put him back on the wing somewhere. Unless they're just sacrificing him to this line.
That's what it feels like. I hope
not great.
I hope when Frederick tells, or when Knobloch tells him, hey, you're playing with Frederick and Matthias Janmark, it's followed by, I'm sorry.
No.
That's a guy who has had offensive success already this year with some guys. And now you're going to put him with two guys who they don't get a sniff offensively. Like,
I have one suggestion. Take it however you want. Comment in, text in. For that third line, the one simple solution I can think of,
it's the only solution,
is putting Mangiapane on the right side.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Nuge at center.
Oh, you can do that. But if you're
saying Mangiapane with Roslovic
and Frederick. Now, I'll give you my rationale, but Nugent Hopkins, I'm leaving the top six as is. That's what I'm thinking. And instead of putting Mangiapane in the fourth line left wing, put him where Janmark is, because he has way more offensive potential than Janmark. Even I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But you're Roslovic, you're the skill guy on that line. You're Mangiapane, you're the guy who's supposed to be able to finish. And then you have a big body in Frederick who's supposed to be able to bang and crash, maybe give the smaller guys a little more confidence when they're out there. Worth a shot, maybe. I'm not even convinced of it. But Janmark should be on the fourth line.
Yes, he should. I mean, he should be scratched, let's be honest, if they were healthy. Like, so Kapanen. Let me just throw this at you.
Mm-hmm.
I already hate it. I was just going to say, you know how much Knobloch likes Kapanen.
Yeah.
Kapanen comes back. You play Kapanen with Draisaitl and Podkolzin. And then you have Savoy, Roslovic, and Mangiapane on a third line. And you hope that they can do something there. I don't love it, but at least there's more talent than what you're rolling out there with Matthias Janmark and Frederick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To me, it comes down to all that, like the Oilers, they're going to be a playoff team. It's just a matter of if they're going to be the 1 seed in the division or the 2 or 3 or whatever. But they're going to be a playoff. Hopefully they're not the fourth wild or the second wild card, because it's disaster over in the other division. But they're going to be a playoff team of some sort. And coming out of with the way you look at the division right now, it's very reasonable to say that the Edmonton Oilers can make it back to a conference final, right? Vegas has been good, but I think the Oilers can play with them, and I think they could beat the Ducks in a series. And so for me, you got to look at what the starting lineup's going to be opening night of the playoffs. And I don't think you can go into it with Adam Henrique as your third line center. So it's got to be Nuge as your third line center, and you wouldn't touch the McDavid line right now. I mean, that would be silly. So it's going to be Nuge as your third line center, or an acquired third line center. All right, now Andrew the accountant texts in and says, Friedman also mentioned that we'll probably see both Hudson and Howard with the Oilers at some point this season. So, and they're both having great years in the American League.
That's good.
And we've seen Hudson, and he scored when he was here. And so I would suspect that we see them before the trade deadline to see if they can be the third scoring line. Tommy, your thoughts on taking a couple of guys who offensively are having a ton of success in the American Hockey League? I think Hudson's 4th in scoring among rookies.
Yeah, he's doing great.
And then Howard's been good since he went down. Could you put those two guys with Henrique, or those two guys with Roslovic on a third line, and hope that it hits for you?
You could try it.
Could take a look.
You could try it.
You know, that would involve some shuffling and putting some guys on waivers that, I mean, who cares if you lose Jones on waivers and Lazar or whatever. But I wonder if you get a look at that here in the next 6 weeks.
I mean, those guys
I
deserve
guess probably post-Olympics.
They deserve another look.
Yeah.
And injuries could factor in again as well. They're doing everything that's being asked of them. Now, what they look like when they come back up here, I don't know. The level of hockey is going to be a little bit different. Well, actually, it might be sloppy coming out of the Olympic break. So that might be a sweet spot to slide them in for a bunch of games to see where they're at and how much they progress. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. You're going to need to. They're eventually supposed to be skilled scoring wingers for you. Get them in there. Try them out.
Here's something that will arouse Oilers fans right now. Okay, let me.
How dare you tease?
Imagine a world where this happens. Now, one of these guys would have to play off wing, but whatever. McDavid with Hyman and Roslovic. Draisaitl with Savoy and Podkolzin. Nuge centers the kids. Hudson and Howard with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on your third line. Roslovic plays in your top line. It doesn't matter. Like with McDavid, play your left side, right side. You're with Connor McDavid. You'll find a way to make it work. Okay, so you have Hyman and Roslovic with McDavid. Savoy, or you put Savoy up there and play Roslovic with Podkolzin, and like you can interchange Savoy but the point of this story here is Nuge is with Hudson and Howard on your third line. You've got the veteran center with the two young wingers, and maybe it clicks.
Maybe they might get pushed around a bit, but
yeah, they'd get pushed.
It depends in certain matchups. I think that could work.
But now, I'm just looking for offensive upside from a third line.
Now, are you completely unwavering to move Podkolzin from Draisaitl's line? Because you could, if you need to add muscle, say you have Nugent Hopkins on third line center, maybe you put Podkolzin down there. Maybe give Ike Howard another try with Draisaitl.
Yeah, but I don't think they touch that. I think Podkolzin and Draisaitl are pretty much locked together.
Yeah, I know.
And I do think Podkolzin is most effective when he's with Draisaitl.
That is
opposed to
obviously
being further down the line.
Abundantly clear.
And then your fourth line can be Henrique with a healthy Kapanen and some other guy on the left side who doesn't score, whether it's
Trent
Frederick or Janmark. And then if you call up Hudson and then like Jones and Lazar are waived or whatever, and you go from there. And you know what? We could still call it the kid line because Nuge looks so little. So you go
almost 1,000 games.
Modified kid line. Nuge between Hudson and Howard. That's asking a lot of both Nuge to carry two young guys and two young guys to try to generate some success. But then play them, right? Call them up, play them 13 minutes a night.
Yes.
14 minutes a night.
Yes.
Nuge still gets the penalty kill time. Nuge still, you know what you could also do? Like I've said it before, I love Nuge and Savoy on penalty kill together. You could play Savoy on the third line with Nugent Hopkins. If you like Howard or Hudson, you move them up a little bit.
That's why I thought maybe you could move Podkolzin down to Nugent Hopkins' line if he were to hypothetically be on the third line at center with a younger, more skilled, lighter forward on the right side.
What say you? 780-218-9999. Mex Bazuzu says, Uncle Nuge and the kids.
Uncle Nuge.
I do like the idea of Nuge being labeled as Uncle Nuge playing with some young guys. Get the puck to Unk. Get the puck to Unk and see what's happening. Look, that's
not a term of endearment.
That's probably not happening though, right? Like, do you think Knobloch, I know you said Freeman says you might see both. Do you think Knobloch gives those two kids a chance to play? Both of them up here at the same time? I'm not even saying together. Just both of them up here at the same time. Like if Kaplan's healthy, he's going to be in the lineup.
Yeah.
They like him. So I don't know if that's...
unless they cut bait on somebody.
Well, if Mangiapane's willing to...
Yeah.
There would be... Now, I hope you don't have to give up a pick to move Mangiapane.
They just gave up a pick.
But is somebody out there willing to give you a 4th round pick and take Mangiapane and his full cap hit off your hands?
Is there a team that thinks they need a middle six guy that's a veteran?
And goes, we'll play him more. We'll give him more opportunity.
Yeah.
He can score.
I'm sure there's like
14 goals for him.
Bottom feeder team
maybe
that would be willing to do that.
But why would they give up a pick if they're a bottom feeder team to take on another year? And Mangiapane would have to waive.
If they? I don't know. Like I'm like Seattle. What's Seattle going to do this year? I know they've had a bit of a resurgence lately, but they were in a deep hole, and they traded Mason Marchment. Would you be able to shed
say pawn him off?
That's the right term. To a Seattle type team. That's what I'd be looking for.
What do you think? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Let's dive into your numbers game for Play Alberta. I'm going to take a look at the goaltending situation right now with the numbers game. By the way, our EST early bird bet from this morning is up and waiting for you. Edmonton Oilers to win tonight. Connor McDavid 2+ points at +165. The Jets have been a train wreck so far. The Oilers have actually played some pretty good, consistent hockey for a little while. Just can't win the third game in a row. I probably wouldn't bet on the Oilers to win the third game after winning a couple. But I don't hate the Oilers to win by 2 or more tonight at that's +185 as well. You can find that. You'd have to click on the NHL page, but go to playalberta.ca or download the Play Alberta app. Play Alberta, title sponsor of everything we do here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Use that code before the end of the month as well. EST Sports, deposit 50, get 50. Connor Ingram. 2.35 goals against average, .915 save percentage. Won 2 games. What's it all mean, Tommy? What's it all mean for Connor Ingram? Now, Pickard's going to get the start tonight, but Ingram had started, 3 of the 4 games he's been up here.
Yeah. If I'm
what's it mean?
If I'm Calvin Pickard, this has to be my best game of the year.
So you think his job is in jeopardy?
It's getting there.
I mean, Ingram looks better than Pickard has this year. It's not even remotely close. Pickard's got the worst numbers in the entire National Hockey League. And he looks like he plays the position better in general than Pickard, right?
Yeah.
He made that one save against Calgary. And I know it wasn't a win, but was it on a power play or was it just 5-on-5? But there was a pass into the slot for a one-timer. And by the time the one-timer came, he'd already gotten in position, boom, held on to it. You're just like, oh, that's what NHL goaltending looks like in some other markets. So, I was joking with Trev on the morning show today. I think it was off the air. I said it, but maybe it was on the air. Like with Tristan Jarry and the recent injury issues he has had. Like this year, injuries are an issue for Tristan Jarry.
Yes.
Like we can talk about what happened and how he was healthy 6 years ago and 4 years ago and all that stuff. But right now, injuries are a concern for Tristan Jarry. He's already missed 2 stretches of time. There is a world where we live in where Connor Ingram is their best bet between the pipes for a run at a Stanley Cup.
If he's improving on what we've seen so far in the small sample size, yes.
Okay, so Pickard...
He has to have his best game tonight of the year.
So when Jarry is healthy, you think right now the decision would be to send Pickard down?
I think it's starting to lean that way.
I think they're giving Ingram so much run to see if he falls apart at some point?
Test it out. Bend, don't break. If it continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger and he gets into a groove, then you have to make that move. And you have, to me, and it was pointed out so many times at BP the other night, well, Ingram was an all-star. Well, Ingram was a starter. Yes. And that you can't deny. Calvin Pickard was too, not an all-star, but a starter, but for a terrible Colorado Avalanche team. And he basically got expelled to the minors for the next 5 years. The ceiling's higher on Ingram. Let's see how he does when the adrenaline wears off and he gets into the slog of the NHL schedule. I know it's brutal in the AHL as well. But it looks like they're putting Ingram in a situation.
Looks like they're testing him, right?
It's and so far pass, right?
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see him get the start against Calgary the other night. I thought he was good. He wasn't the reason why they lost. Thought they got out hustled, outworked. He's made a case for himself. So that's why I'm saying Calvin Pickard has to have his best game tonight. Simple as that. And then you reassess because it's probably going to be Ingram against Boston on Wednesday. Wednesday. What day is it?
Today's Monday.
Today's Monday.
Bones says Marc-Andre Fleury incoming. LOL.
Okay, I have some info on that.
Okay.
He's been calling around.
Fleury's been calling around.
Think it's his. I think his.
I like to. I know it would be his agent, but I like to envision Marc-Andre Fleury hello. It's Marc-Andre Fleury. When following your goaltending situation, and it is laughable. Ha 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 ha. Would you be interested in me?
Yeah. So clearly, there is some appetite for him to return if his camp is touching base with teams, including Edmonton.
So this is more of a Marc-Andre Fleury is feeling things out.
Yeah. And now, I was told in regard to here, when it comes to Marc-Andre Fleury, they need to see what Ingram, Jari, Pickard looks like first.
You think Pickard would get claimed?
Maybe. I think last year's Pickard 100%.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would claim the guy with the worst stats in the league this year.
Well,
I know he's a good dude and everything.
The defense, again, the team defense from the Oilers for the first 25 games was dog crap. Maybe 20 games. Let's start to clean it up.
The Wolf texts in and says, at one point, I would have killed for Ingram when he was at his best. Edmonton is known for having some good comeback stories. Kane, Cassian, Patty Maroon. Maybe this is a good story for Ingram.
We'll see.
Right? Hell, I probably would have ran him back out there against Winnipeg tonight. Just let's see.
Now,
let's see what you got.
If they did that, to me, that would have been like, okay, Calvin.
Signal end of Pickard, yeah.
But I think there's some loyalty to Calvin Pickard and what he's done.
Well, you hope for Pickard that he can look. He's going up against a team that outside of one line generates no offense at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. So it should not be. I'd be stunned tonight if Pickard gets peppered. Like unless the Oilers have just mailed it in, but I don't think that'll be the case.
They need a good bounce back, just a solid effort. I know they had their way with Winnipeg, but last time it was Winnipeg in a 3 games, 4-night scenario, back-to-back. They started Eric Comrie back-to-back nights. Edmonton feasted on them. And then I know the Oilers have been stuck in that scenario as well. It's tough, but today's more even up. Hellebuck at the other end. It's going to be a tougher matchup. But if Winnipeg continues to struggle offensively, this has Oilers written all over it for a good bounce-back game.
Gord says, I love Fleury, but the only way he signs is if Pickard gets claimed off waivers and then Jari gets hurt again and they need a goalie to play with Ingram. There's Hernan, the man, who's off today. He's in the chat, though. He says, the Jets are due. But Hernan, the real question, if you're watching, are the Oilers back? I think I saw him claim on social media over the weekend that the Oilers are back.
When you can't win 3 games in a row, there is an issue there, in my opinion.
I said that I wouldn't say they're back or have the conversation of them being back again until they win 3 in a row. But like this 12-game stretch has me sort of leaning towards
it's promising.
Back. Now, is it more than just McDavid being like the best player we've seen in the last 5 years for a month? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Hopefully he just keeps rolling. Pierre LeBrun saying that the Blue Jackets are finalizing a trade for Chinnikov. Columbus is going to get draft picks back in return. Chinnikov, first-round pick in the 2020 NHL draft, has played 204 games, 77 points, 37 goals in those 204 games. You know what it sort of reminds me of?
What?
The Podkolzin thing. Like a first-round pick that hadn't really clicked where he was at. Chinnikov did have 16 goals in 53 games 2 years ago. I don't know if it said who's got him yet, but LeBron saying he's
Columbus. I completely forgot about them. There's a team maybe you could send Mangiapane if he's willing to waive his no move too. Just a thought. Anyway, with the 3-game win streak, Swainer sent me in a good stat. Says the Oilers are now guaranteed to not have a 3-game win streak in the first half of the season. The last time they did not have a 3-game win streak in the first half of the season was 1999-2000. The only other team in the NHL that does not have a 3-game win streak yet is the St. Louis Blues.
Huh. Look, today we were talking about the Blues on Lock Shop briefly. And St. Louis has 15 wins. All 15 of them are in regulation. They have not won a game in a shootout or overtime yet this year. They've lost a bunch in those situations. But,
8.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Alex says over on the YouTube chat, can you imagine Pickard outplays Hellebuck tonight? Easy E says Mangiapane to Buffalo for Tuck. Well, the Edmonton Oilers are, Mangiapane is willing. This is very much reeks of Arvidsson. Right? Arvidsson, it's almost the exact same thing. Like Mangiapane was the guy they kind of brought in to replace Arvidsson with the money that, and Arvidsson pretty early into his time here was like, I'd like more opportunity. So send me somewhere else.
Yes.
Kind of low key under the radar.
Yeah, we knew for a while.
Yeah, and now Mangiapane is apparently like, I'd like more opportunity, send me somewhere else.
I don't blame him. Well,
what'd you say? He's been playing 10 minutes a night for
10
a
to
month?
12 for the better part of like a dozen games.
All right, once again, what time you get rolling at Boston Pizza tonight?
I will be there at 3:30 to set up, 4:30 on the air for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame.
And then post-game show to follow, so make sure you're ready to join us for that as well. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Will Fraser, and we'll be breaking down this game. I think we'll have Button. I got to check with him. He's got World Junior stuff on the go, but I'm hoping to have Button. Reed's going to join us at 7:45 because we don't have a show on Thursday, and then Greg Wyshynski. We'll be by tomorrow. So big hockey show tomorrow morning with Will Fraser. Coob, what's coming up? By the way, great Canada jersey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish they just run that logo back all the time.
But see, that logo has bad juju around it right now.
I think in general, the junior team has bad juju around it right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just saying. I mean, they do not look like they are poised to win a World Junior Championship. But what's coming up on EST Afternoons, buddy?
Well, yeah, Maddie's in here for Hernans, so it'll be Matawanik and Joaquin Gage diving into the action from the 2-game set against the Flames, I guess, where the Oilers split that, and go into the news today with no Philp being claimed by the Hurricanes off waivers. Of course, David Tomasek as well. The game tonight against the Jets, Calvin Pickard starting for that one, and Jonathan Davis will join us to go around the NHL. We got the Screw It, Let's Do It NHL parlay, and we'll go around the world of sports as well on a busy show.
Good job, Coop.
Quick tweet from Titch. And Gager's just walking in.
He's just walking like he owns the place here.
Look at this guy.
You were ready for us to get going here. Rob Titchkowski, 33 minutes ago. I like when Titch pops his head out on Twitter.
Very rarely.
Regarding not getting a chance or being properly deployed in Edmonton, Mangiapane. Mangiapane played 23 of the first 25 games of the season on the first or second line. At the end of those 25 games, he had 8 points. It was a team worst, minus 18 with 2 minutes in penalties. So there's Titch talking about Mangiapane, who apparently is open to being moved from the Edmonton Oilers. All right, that's going to do it for the Oil Stream. Join Tommy tonight, Clairview, Boston Pizza. Should be, I think it's going to be a good game tonight for the Oilers. I think they'll get the job done against a struggling Winnipeg Jets team. And if they don't, we'll certainly be panicking tomorrow morning on The Nielson Show. For Tom Gazzola, I'm Dustin Nielson. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. You got to go on WST with us.
Yeah, in 15
Hey, said
minutes.
you were coming up. All right, that's going to do it for us. Stick around for EST Afternoons. Take it easy.